I never put out my own music before like this, and I didn't even know it was legal for me to come and bring you music at the radio station. I thought that was against the laws.
Lloyd was never meant to survive the music industry. On paper, he should have been just another R&B heartthrob who burned bright and faded fast. But the truth behind the scenes was far darker. Lawsuits, label sabotage, and even betrayal from the very people who claimed to support him. From boy band beginnings to near exile in the industry, Lloyd's journey is a story of struggle, resilience, and ultimate reinvention. In this video, we dive deep into the drama, the hidden battles with figures like Irv Gotti, the chaos that threatened to derail his career, and how he fought back to reclaim his voice, his freedom, and his legacy. What really happened to Lloyd? Why did he disappear? And how did he rise again on his own terms? Stay tuned, because the story of Lloyd is one you won't want to miss. For years, casual fans assumed Lloyd was just another soft-spoken R&B kid, known for his features with Lil Wayne and early hits, but then vanished without explanation. Many believed he had fallen off, lost his touch, or simply couldn't keep pace with the rise of artists like Chris Brown and Ne-Yo. But that version of the story was a smokescreen. The misconception began when Lloyd broke out at an unusually young age. He had already navigated the boy band circuit, experienced fame as a literal child, and was handed a record deal with Murder Inc. before most teenagers had even learned to drive. He appeared to be another industry-made R&B heartthrob, perfectly polished, easily marketable, and seemingly disposable. When Murder Inc. collapsed under federal investigation, the public assumed Lloyd had gone down with the ship. To the outside world, he disappeared. But in reality, the industry knew he was still grinding, just fighting tooth and nail to escape restrictive contracts, manipulative managers, and the politics that tried to trap him. As if that weren't enough, Hurricane Katrina struck New Orleans, Lloyd's hometown, during this turbulent period. His family was devastated. Lloyd found himself uprooting relatives, relocating them to Atlanta, and shouldering an overwhelming financial and emotional burden. On top of that, the music he had poured his soul into couldn't be released. Not because it wasn't ready, but because the government had frozen the label's assets. And as he juggled this chaos, the one person who had once vowed to champion him, his mentor, Irv Gotti, was nowhere to be found. The same Irv who claimed to have discovered Lloyd, the same Irv who had thrown tantrums when Lloyd sought independence, now vanished when Lloyd needed him most. Then came the label Chaos. Even after Irv Gotti won his legal battles, Murder Inc. was left in shambles, bankrupt and unable to support its artists. Lloyd, refusing to go down with the sinking ship, took matters into his own hands. He began releasing music independently, starting with his single You, and it quickly gained traction. Radio play surged, fans buzzed online, and Lloyd finally experienced the comeback he had earned. When Atlantic Records stepped in, offering a clean slate and legitimate backing, Lloyd seized the opportunity. But his former mentor, Irv Gotti, saw it as a betrayal. He sued Lloyd, threatened Atlantic, and called him disloyal, acting as though he still owned Lloyd's career. And if that weren't enough, Joyce Herby reappeared like a recurring villain in a bad drama. She sued Lloyd again, claiming unpaid money from their previous court agreement, and even demanded that he find her a job. Yes, literally part of the deal. Suddenly, Lloyd was juggling lawsuits on all fronts, caught between bitter ex-label heads and former mentors acting like unpaid consultants, all while simply trying to make music. Even when he did release songs, the labels had no idea what to do with him. He no longer fit the mold. He wasn't the boy band kid they had shaped. He wasn't their obedient puppet. He was a grown man with his own vision, and that terrified an industry built on compliance. Despite the chaos, Lloyd didn't break. He bent quietly, patiently, and began constructing something no one could touch. Navigating two major lawsuits, one from his mentor, one from his label boss, he finally thought he might breathe again. But the music industry doesn't forgive easily. In 2011, Lloyd released King of Hearts, a mature, polished, and vulnerable album. Tracks like Lay It Down cracked the top 10 on the R&B charts. Cupid landed at number 11, and Dedication to My Ex featuring Andre 3000 became his biggest international hit. Yet the label wasn't satisfied. Sales weren't blockbuster. Numbers didn't match the talent, so they dropped him. No conversation, no regrouping, no strategy, just done. The problem was that R&B was shifting toward gimmicks, viral moments, and manufactured drama. Lloyd, however, continued to make real music. He didn't chase headlines. He wasn't dating a Kardashian, and he certainly wasn't going to dance on TikTok. That made him a risk. But here's the kicker. Even without a label, without a big budget, Lloyd kept his name alive. He hustled through features, mixtapes, and touring. He funded projects with his own team, poured in the grind, and endured the exhaustion that came with it. Behind the scenes, Lloyd was running on empty. Burned by Irv Gotti, sued by Joyce Herby, misunderstood by his labels, losing money and losing momentum, he was still expected to perform as if none of it mattered. It showed in his interviews. He had become quieter, more careful, guarded. Years would pass without a full album from him. And every time Lloyd began to regain momentum, another obstacle would appear. If it wasn't industry politics, it was personal pain. If it wasn't shady contracts, it was blatant neglect. But that silence, that gap in his music career, wasn't a fade out. It was a reset. What the world didn't see was Lloyd quietly plotting his comeback, his own version of revenge. By the mid-2000s, casual fans assumed Lloyd had vanished for good. No hit singles, no major label support, no scandals, just silence. Questions swirled. Had he quit? Was he another almost famous R&B casualty? The truth was very different. Lloyd wasn't retreating, he was healing. In a rare 2016 interview on Sway in the Morning, he opened up for the first time. He spoke about stepping back to focus on family, completing his GED, learning new instruments, adopting a vegetarian lifestyle, and even exploring spirituality. He was rebuilding himself, piece by piece. In 2017, Lloyd welcomed a son, followed by a daughter in 2018. The man who had spent years surviving the cutthroat music industry was now focused on surviving life. That same year, he returned with True, his most honest project to date. It wasn't about chasing charts or satisfying labels, it was personal, reflective, grown man music. The title track, released 2 years prior, felt like a heartfelt letter to his fans, raw, emotional, and real, and it resonated. In 2019, Lloyd joined the Millennium Tour alongside B2K, Mario, and Pretty Ricky, and the crowds went wild. People hadn't forgotten him. If anything, they missed him. It was proof that Lloyd had built something no label drama could erase, a loyal, enduring fan base. He even ventured into acting, portraying Switch's Gregory Williams in the Bobby DeBarge story on TV1, quietly proving he wasn't just a singer with a smooth falsetto, he was a storyteller. So was this a redemption arc? Or simply Lloyd finally moving on his own terms? Perhaps it was both. Stepping away may have been the smartest career move he ever made. While others burned out chasing the industry's approval, Lloyd was quietly building peace and control over his life. In 2025, Lloyd stands as proof that you don't have to be loud to be legendary. He may not dominate the charts weekly, but he's thriving on his own terms, a flex most artists from his era can't claim. He tours regularly, especially on the nostalgia circuit, headlining throwback festivals and R&B showcases alongside other early 2000s icons. The industry underestimated one key fact: his fans grew up with him. The same people who swooned over Southside and slow dancing now book babysitters to see him live and snatch VIP tickets. Lloyd remains active on social media, but never in a clout-chasing way. He shares moments of fatherhood, music updates, and occasional teasers of unreleased tracks, maintaining a quiet, authentic presence that speaks louder than any headline ever could. Where is Lloyd now in 2025? As of 2025, Lloyd remains firmly in control of his craft. He continues to work in the studio at his own pace, developing projects under his own imprint without the interference of executives or corporate agendas. Beyond his personal music, he has quietly written and produced for other artists, stacking revenue behind the scenes while deliberately keeping his name away from drama and tabloid headlines. Lloyd has become a blueprint for artistic survival. A new generation of indie R&B singers points to him as a source of inspiration, not only for his signature falsetto, but for the way he reclaimed control over his career after being burned by the industry. There were no messy breakups, no viral meltdowns, no desperate social media stunts, just a grown man, a father of two, creating music on his terms, showing up for his fans, and unapologetically choosing peace over industry pressure. That, in itself, is a major victory. Net worth and legacy. In 2025, Lloyd's net worth is estimated to be around $1.5 to $2 million. While not flashy by celebrity standards, it is a quiet triumph considering the obstacles he overcame. Lawsuits, shady contracts, frozen label assets, and years of navigating the industry independently. Unlike many of his peers, Lloyd avoided bankruptcy, reality TV scandals, and the burnout that comes from chasing fleeting fame. He recalibrated, pivoted, and returned with full ownership, creative control, and a fan base that never forgot him. Lloyd will be remembered as the smooth falsetto king of early 2000s R&B, the voice behind timeless slow jams like Southside You and Lay It Down. But more importantly, he will be remembered as the artist who escaped the boy band machine, survived Murder Inc.'s legal chaos, and rose above the industry's manipulations to build a life that truly made sense. He set an example for a generation of artists. Your worth is not defined by Billboard rankings, gossip blogs, or viral trends. It is defined by staying true to yourself, knowing when to fight, and knowing when to walk away. Final hot take. Lloyd wasn't just underestimated. He was deliberately boxed in. The system wanted him young, controllable, and grateful. The moment he stopped being the smiling, obedient R&B puppet, the industry turned on him. But when the dust settled, after lawsuits, betrayal, and heartbreak, Lloyd did what few artists can. He walked away with his soul intact. No viral scandal, no desperate rebrand, no tell-all, just steady growth, healing, real music, and a real life. He didn't fade away. He outlasted the chaos. He outgrew the machine. And in doing so, he became far more powerful than any chart-topping hitmaker. He became free. So the next time someone claims Lloyd fell off, ask yourself this: did he really fall off? Or did he level up in a way the industry was never ready to handle? What we know about R&B singer Lloyd? Lloyd Polite Jr. was born on January 3, 1986 in New Orleans, Louisiana, to Lloyd Polite Sr. and Robin Lewis Polite. He spent his early years in the Calliope Projects in Central City, a neighborhood known for both its culture and its challenges. Seeking new opportunities, his family eventually moved to Decatur, Georgia, where young Lloyd discovered his passion for singing. That spark would eventually guide him to New York City, where he met Irv Gotti, the label executive who would help launch his career. In 2004, Lloyd was discovered and signed as a solo artist to Irv Gotti's The Ink Records. On July 20, 2004, he released his debut album, Southside. The album made an impressive entry, debuting at number 11 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and number 3 on the top R&B/hip-hop albums chart. Its lead single, Southside, featuring label mate Ashanti, peaked at number 24 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached number 13 on the top R&B hip-hop songs chart. Later that year, the second single, Hey Young Girl, climbed to number 61 on the R&B/hip-hop songs chart. Lloyd's presence extended beyond his own releases. In 2004, he featured on 8 Ball and MJG's Forever and Tango Red's Let's Cheat, as well as Ja Rule's Caught Up, which saw minor success in the United States, reaching number 65 on the top R&B hip-hop songs chart, while peaking at number 20 in the United Kingdom. Eager to build on his initial momentum, Lloyd returned to the studio to work with a lineup of producers including Brian Michael Cox, James Lackey, Jazzy Faye, Big Reese, Jasper Cameron, and the Inkies' Seven Aurelius. The effort culminated in his sophomore album, Street Love, released on March 13, 2007. It debuted at number 2 on both the U.S. Billboard 200 and the top R&B/hip-hop albums charts, selling 145,000 copies in its first week, the highest debut of Lloyd's career. The album eventually earned a gold certification, selling over 500,000 copies domestically. The lead single from Street Love, You, penned by Jasper Cameron and featuring Lil Wayne, marked Lloyd's first top 10 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot R&B/hip-hop songs chart. It also charted internationally, peaking at number 45 in the United Kingdom and number 25 in New Zealand. The second single, Get It Shawty, became another major hit, climbing to number 16 on the Hot 100 and number 4 on the R&B/hip-hop songs chart, while also reaching number 37 in the UK. The third single, Player's Prayer, saw limited promotion and peaked at number 74 on the R&B hip-hop songs chart without a music video. Lloyd continued to lend his voice to collaborations, appearing on Huey's When I Hustle and Dem Franchise Boys' Turn Heads later in 2007. While these tracks saw only modest success in the U.S., they maintained Lloyd's presence in the R&B scene and helped cement his reputation as a consistent and versatile artist. In August 2008, Lloyd released his third studio album, Lessons in Love. The album's title came from a personal fantasy Lloyd shared. The title concept derives from a schoolboy fantasy of mine, where I become a professor of a classroom full of gorgeous girls, and I feel the best thing I can give them that's really worth having is lessons in love, he explained, reflecting the themes worked into the tracks. The album debuted at number 7 on the Billboard 200 and claimed the top spot on the top R&B/hip-hop albums chart, selling around 51,000 copies in its first week, roughly half the debut of his previous album, Street Love. The lead single, How We Do It, Around My Way, featured Ludacris, but achieved only moderate success, peaking at number 77 on the Billboard R&B/hip-hop chart and number 75 in the UK. Its underperformance led it to appear only as a bonus track on select album versions. The second single, Girls Around the World, featuring Lil Wayne, fared better, reaching number 64 on the Hot 100 and number 13 on the R&B/hip-hop chart. The third single, Year of the Lover, featured rapper Plies, and only reached number 1 on the Billboard bubbling under R&B/hip-hop singles chart. By June 2009, Lloyd parted ways with the Ink Records, stating that he was focusing on just growing in general. Around this time, a song titled Pusha, produced by The Runners and co-written by Lloyd, Raymond Ray Ray Gordon, Sean Slim McMillian, and The Monarch, leaked online. Initially featuring Jules Santana, the track later included Lil Wayne, and both verses were combined for release as the lead single from Lloyd's EP, Like Me, the Young Goldie EP. He also collaborated with Lil Wayne on Bedrock, the second single from the Young Money compilation. In May 2010, Lloyd teamed up with fellow New Orleans native Mystical for the track Set Me Free, shot in the Calliope Projects, Lloyd's childhood neighborhood. The song incorporated heavy brass and sampled Ray Charles's classic Unchain My Heart. On July 25, 2010, he announced via Twitter that his next album would be titled King of Hearts, which released on July 5, 2011. The album's lead single, Lay It Down, was followed by Cupid and Dedication to My Ex, Miss That, the latter featuring Andre 3000 and narrated by Lil Wayne. Dedication to My Ex became Lloyd's biggest international hit, peaking at number 3 in both Australia and the UK. On October 29, 2012, Lloyd released his first mixtape, The Playboy Diaries Volume 1, featuring appearances from Lil Wayne, August Alsina, and Trey Tha Truth. In January 2013, he released Twerk Off with rapper Juicy J, produced by Drumma Boy. After a period of relative quiet, Lloyd returned in 2016 with his single True, marking his first release in 5 years. He shared the track's audio on YouTube 12 days later. In a June 2016 interview, he revealed a new distribution deal with Empire. Later that year, he announced his 5th studio album, Out My Window, and in November 2016, teased a new EP, True, which released on December 9th. On July 9th, 2018, Lloyd released Caramel, the first single from his album True, which officially dropped on August 31st, 2018. This period marked a shift toward more personal, reflective music, emphasizing his growth and independence as an artist. Outside the studio, Lloyd has made several personal milestones public. On September 3, 2010, he cut off his signature long hair and donated it to charity. On July 6, 2011, he revealed a new Guns N' Roses tattoo on the back of his head. In March 2016, he announced he had earned his GED, encouraging fans to finish their education. In an August 2016 interview with Sway Calloway, Lloyd opened up about the personal struggles reflected in True, including the loss of an unborn child and other family hardships that left a lasting impact. In September 2017, he and his girlfriend welcomed their son River, followed by a daughter in late 2018. These life events marked a period of personal fulfillment and growth alongside his evolving music career. Lloyd's journey is a testament to resilience, showing that surviving the music industry isn't just about talent. It's about patience, strategy, and staying true to yourself. From boy band beginnings to label betrayals, lawsuits, and personal hardships, he managed to rebuild his life and career on his own terms, proving that success isn't always measured by chart numbers or headlines. But now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Lloyd's path was a true redemption? Or was it simply him taking control of his life away from the industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth stories like this. Until next time, bye for now. Bye.